Good evening, everyone around Australia. Welcome to SBS Television's coverage. In just a few moments, it'll be the 1990 Foster's Australian Pacing Championship from Harold Park in Sydney, where conditions are fine, a little blustery, but a warm evening, and the track here at headquarters is hard and fast. Let's take a look at the 1990 Australian Pacing Championship field tonight. Number 1, representing Tasmania, is Thor 8, driven by Brian Hancock. From New Zealand, number 2 is Defoe, Ardan. Number 3 from South Australia is Tip Top Prince, J Justice. From New South Wales, number 4, Love Despair, driven by Therese Gleeson. Number 6, or number 5, I should say, Happy Helden, representing Queensland, driven tonight by Tony Turnbull. The odds-on favourite, the champion 4-year-old, last year's Italian Cup winner, number 6, Westburn Grant, driven by VW Frost, representing New South Wales. Number 7 from Victoria, Rufus Youngblood. Scratched is number 8, Whitby Timer from Western Australia. And 2 Victorians, 9 and 10. 9, Franco Tiger, driven by Richard Hancock. And number 10, Almeida Boy from the very powerful Vin Knight stable at Kilmore. Well, there you have the field, everybody, for the 1990 Foster's Australian Pacing Championship. A tremendous atmosphere, a very large crowd here at Harold Park. And joining us again tonight on SBS from the National Trot Guide magazine is Ivan Tilley. Ivan, it's a big one.
A very big night and a very big crowd rolled up to witness the Australian Pacing Championships. And with $100,000 in the win pool at the moment, number 1 is currently at 5 to 1. Number 2, Defoe, is at 15 to 1. Tip Top Prince is at 31 to 1. Love Despair at 43 to 1, Happy Helden at 100 to 1, Westburn Grant at 1 to 3. They've rallied for Westburn Grant once again here tonight. Rufus Youngblood 54 to 1, of course Whitby Timer, the late scratching, Franco Tiger at 31 to 1, and Almeida Boy at 9 to 1.
Well, they've just gone for Westburn Grant at the exclusion on the New South Wales tote anyway of every other runner.
Well, exactly, 1 to 3, 100,000 in the win pool, and as we speak, he's just shortened out a little bit now to 5 to 2 on, but certainly Westburn Grant, the horse to beat. That phenomenal run here last week, and Alan, how did they beat him?
Well, mate, let's just look at the ring. Thor 8 is juicy odds, I reckon, anyway, at 5 to 1 on the New South Wales tote. What about the ring?
He's a lot shorter in the ring, probably 2 points shorter in the ring, Thor 8. Defoe.
Bit of a tip on course for Defoe.
Yes, they're very confident of the connections of Defoe, and he's a lot shorter in the ring. Just over double figures in the ring. Tip Top Prince, he's 12 to 1 on the tote. He's a lot shorter in the ring. Love Despair, 20 on the tote. He's round about that in the ring now. Happy Helden, 100 to 1. Well, if Happy Helden wins, the only one cheering will be probably
well, we won't be.
Mr. Hens in Queensland. He's a Queensland horse, and Russ Hens would be the only one cheering if Happy Helden happens to salute the judge.
Westburn in the ring.
Westburn in the ring. He's around about the same as on the tote now at 5 to 2 on. Rufus Youngblood, 54 to 1 chance. He's a lot shorter in the ring, surprisingly, tonight, Rufus Youngblood. Just over double figures. Franco Tiger, of course, he's a little bit shorter than the ring tote, and Almeida Boy is a lot shorter also.
Ivan Tilley, let's go back to last week's Italian Cup and look at the closing stages and see what Westburn Grant did to the field here last Friday night.
And they're being followed by the Thor 8, and we are cheek from a long way back, but Westburn's in front by 15 metres on the corner. Almeida's got into a full stretch gallop. Coming home well down the outside is Whitby Heritage, and they're being followed by We Are Chief and Thor 8, but it's Westburn Grant in front halfway down the straight, and Westburn Grant's a fair dinkum champion, and he comes down to the line to win well. Coming home a big run, second Thor 8, third was Defoe.
Tremendous performance last week. He drew barrier 8, Ivan. He got to the front. Many good judges here tonight are saying that he cannot lead from barrier 6. For those people at home who don't know the style of harness racing here at Harold Park, there are 6 horses across the front line, and Westburn Grant has drawn the very outside. Will it be difficult for him to lead?
Well, I don't think it will be, although I expect Thor 8 to hold the lead from barrier 1. Perhaps Love Despair might challenge Thor 8, but by gee, Westburn Grant, he's got scintillating speed. He proved that in here in the Coca-Cola Miracle Mile last year. He went 27.6 up the back, and it's going to take a mighty horse to hold Westburn Grant out. He's just got too much speed for these, and the punters have rallied, and the Frost camp's supremely confident. He's the best horse in Australia, and the best horse usually wins the best races.
The crowd here at Harold Park will bring the house down if Westburn Grant wins. If Westburn Grant can manage to win the Foster's Australian Pacing Championship, he'll top the $1 million stake earnings, which is not a bad for a standard bred. And also, Ivan, if Thor 8 wins, I understand he'll become a millionaire as well.
2 millionaires at Harold Park, Alan. What a pity it's not you and I that are the millionaires. But if Westburn Grant happens to salute the judge, I'm sure that a mighty cheer will go up from the crowd. He's a true champion, and champions deserve a thorough ovation that Westburn Grant should
There has
get.
been a slight delay here. One of the horses has actually cast a plate. You recall that last week during the Italian Cup we had a protest. I hope we don't have a protest again tonight. I'm sure we won't. But one of the runners has actually cast a plate, so there will be a delay. Well, of course, the Miracle Mile, Ivan, is coming up live on SBS television 2 weeks from tonight. There have been already 2 invitations issued by the New South Wales Harness Racing directors. One is a New Zealand horse, I understand, who went a phenomenal time across the Tasman, called Tight Connection. He must be a big chance in the Miracle Mile.
Certainly, an unknown quantity is Tight Connection. He's performed very well in New Zealand. He'll acquit himself well. A lot of importance tonight, Alan, the reserve spots for the Miracle Mile. If Thorate happens to run well, of course. Last night, the Sheridan Awards Thorate was named Australasian Harness Horse of the Year. He's done a mighty job, and if he salutes maybe Thorate next into the Miracle Mile. But that still leaves 3. Where do we go from here?
2 so far into the Miracle Mile. Westburn Grant has been invited, as has the New Zealander Tight Connection. 4 spots left in the Miracle Mile. The track here is very fast tonight. In an earlier race, Forkany Dark won a race, and she went 1:58.8 in a mile rate. So the track is on fire. So it's just about time the horses are lining up. Let's go up to a man who obviously is very excited and is going to give us a great call. Hi, Farron Hotham.
Now they're set. The Australian Pacing Cup, last year won by Earth Station. Happy Halden about 100 to 1 this time, the Queensland entry. Ironically, a New South Wales driver aboard Happy Halden in Tony Turnbull, and they're set. Blue light flashes and they're off in the Australian Pacing Championship of 1990. A great start. Tess Gleeson has Love to Spare, rallying through quickly on the early stages, but Tip Top Prince will ballot it out. 4-8 back to the fence. Westburn Grant 3 and 4 deep, followed by Defoe. Then came Rufus Youngblood, being followed by Happy Halden, and they're being followed by Rufus Youngblood, and Almeida Boy is last. Up the back in the Australian Pacing Championship, and Tip Top Prince is in front. The Victorian pacer going along nicely. He's 3/4 a length in front of Westburn Grant. On the fence, 4-8 there, being followed by Love to Spare. On the fence next, Franco Tiger, being followed by Defoe. Then came Happy Halden, wider out Almeida Boy. And last of all, as they swing down the back, Franco Tiger. But it's still Tip Top Prince pacing along nicely in front. He's out by 3/4 of a length. Westburn Grant on the outside, pacing well. Back on the fence, Thor-8. Love to Spare, beautifully positioned for Tess Gleeson. 1 out and 1 back. They're being followed as they swing down the judge by Rufus Youngblood. On the outside of Victor Foe, back on the fence, Happy Halden. They're being followed by Almeida Boy, second last. And the last one is Franco Tiger. Past the judge, Tip Top Prince just in front. He's trying the head round a little bit. He's just in front of Westburn Grant, the big New South Wales pacer, chasing the $1 million on the outside. They swing down the back with 4-8 next, wedged in on the inside. Hancock trying to push to raise on Love to Spare round the back of the track, being followed by Defoe. Then came Rufus Youngblood. Franco Tiger's a long way back. He's last. Up in front of it, Happy Halden, who can't go with the pace, and Almeida Boy. But the champion, Westburn Grant, has been satellite by Vic Frost, and it's 3/4 Tip Top Prince, who just won't give up. They're being followed by Love to Spare, who's hanging on with them as they swing down the back. On the inside, 4-8. Here's Almeida Boy with a big run. Vin Knight set Almeida Boy right around the outside. In between horses, Rufus Youngblood, Franco Tiger Defoe, and Happy Halden, the Queensland pacer, is last. The bell rings, the Australian Pacing Championship, and Westburn Grant is in front. But here's Vin Knight with Almeida Boy. Almeida Boy trying to get him. Tip Top Prince the fence. Love to Spare is fifth. 4-8 can't get out. Then Defoe, Franco Tiger and Rufus Youngblood and Happy Halden. But look at this fella go down the back. This is a shock. Almeida Boy's gone to the front. Westburn Grant is switching the tail. They're being followed by Tip Top Prince, who's gone. Love to Spare and 4-8. He's a long way back. I don't think he can get there, or can he? They're being followed by Franco Tiger and Rufus Youngblood. But look at Almeida go. Vin Knight has set Almeida Boy racing away. He's won this race before, and he's 20 metres Westburn Grant down the back. They're being followed by Love to Spare. Franco Tiger's coming into it, and right around the outside, 4-8 with a big run. But Almeida Boy's got an unbeatable lead as they turn. It's 15 metres in front. Westburn battling on with 4-8, who's coming home well, and Defoe from a long way back. Vin Knight and Almeida Boy. He's got 100 metres to go. Gives him a couple of kicks with a whip. Oh, it's a great horse. Almeida Boy will score this one. Almeida Boy, big run second. That was a big run. Franco Tiger, who flew. Defoe was up with Rufus Youngblood. They're being followed by 4-8. Westburn Grant, a supreme disappointment. Tip Top Prince, Franco Tiger, and Happy Halden has finished last in the 1990 Australian Pacing Championship. Almeida Boy has been an absolute shock here at Harold Park tonight in Sydney. 10 the winner, Almeida Boy. Watch him halfway down the straight. R.A. Gardner, the owner of the pacer, Inner Circle and Nahimi. And what an effort. Second and third in that race. Well, a big run by Franco Tiger, who flew right down the outside at the finish. It was a big run to run second. But look at Almeida Boy, and look at the run by Franco Tiger, who was winding up right down the outside. In New South Wales, the winner will pay around about $13 the win and $2.70 the place. Let's have a look at them halfway down the straight. Almeida Boy is in front. Watch the run on the outside by Defoe with 4-8 and Franco Tiger in the centre. But he's just been far too good, Almeida Boy. Franco Tiger second. I think Defoe on the outside will get third. That was a big run by Franco Tiger. Yeah, Defoe will get third and fourth. Well, Westburn Grant has finished about sixth. And it's been very disappointing. And Love to Spare was up there with that pack too. There's the winner coming back to scale. Almeida Boy with Vin Knight. Vin Knight won this race back in 1983 in Brisbane with Popular Arm. It's his second race. Last year it went to Earth Station, and Vin Knight's got a great smile on his face as he comes back. In Kilmore in Victoria, Almeida Boy was the outside draw horse in this. For 46 starts, his 21st win. He's been placed 14 times, 9 second Franco Tiger and 2 third, and that was Defoe. In New South Wales, approximately these are the totes: 13.10 and 2.70 the winner, $4.20 for second, $4.20 and $1.70 for third. The Quinella in New South Wales 101. They've rated the journey 254.2, and would you believe the mile rate, sensational, 159.3. 159.3, a sensational run. And look at the big crowd in for the Australian Pacing Championship tonight. And Almeida Boy showing sensational speed, and he did it all himself. There's Vic Frost shaking the hand of Almeida Boy, and the Victorian flag coming back for the Kilmore champion Vin Knight, who last night took out the Australian Driver of the Year, and with his father Bob, they took out dual honours as leading stakes winners and champions in driving and training in Australia for 1990. This big crowd gives Almeida Boy an outstanding ovation as Vin Knight comes back after an absolutely sensational drive. He's by Inner Circle from Nahani, and that's his 47th start for 21 wins. Franco Tiger, a big run for second, as we said, and Defoe's run was sensational to run third. Westburn Grant tried to do what he did in the Italian Cup and burn to the front, but there was so many challenges. Thor 8, you could say, was a little disappointing. He was hemmed away. When he did start to get out, he just couldn't go with them, the Australian Horse of the Year. And as you see, Vin Knight coming back, it has been a sensational win to Almeida Boy. You can hear the crowd in the background as he passes the lap meter. 10 Almeida Boy, the winner. RV Knight, a bay horse 5 years, and isn't he a proud, beautiful-looking young horse? A bay horse 5 years, 10 Almeida Boy, the winner of the Foster's Australian Pacing Championship. $100,000 to the winner. Well, Alan Gaskell is now down with Vin Knight, and it was a sensational win. You can see Almeida Boy playing up a little. Let's go to Alan now as he talks to Vin Knight and Almeida Boy after the Foster's Australian Pacing Championship.
Thank you, Farron. Vin, congratulations, SBS Television around Australia. Fantastic performance. Good on you.
Thanks very much. Gives me a great thrill to win this race tonight. It was the first time he's had a decent run. He's put up enormous runs every time, and he's a great horse. My family's back home. My wife and kid.
I hope they're watching, Vin.
My wife and kids and Natasha and Harley and Diane and my mother-in-law Betty. They'll be back home, and I wish they were here tonight. And the staff will be back at the Red Lion watching it, and my father and everything. And I hope they have a drink on it.
Vin,
I'll be back there.
A Miracle Mile start now must be just
For
around the corner.
He won't start again until the Miracle Mile. That's his last run. I think he'll get a run now, and I think he handled the track beautiful. We brought him here Wednesday. We were very disturbed about, the way he sort of handled the track last week. Tonight he's handled it terrific, and, he did work nice the other day, come home in 28 and a bit, and I said to Leon, well, this is our big chance tonight. If they go hard, we'll run a big race, and he is a Miracle Mile horse. He's as good as Gundry Flyer and them, and you'll be right there. Thanks very much.
Vin Knight.
We've waited 3 years to win a big race with this horse. Robin Gardner back home in Tasmania, his wife and family, they'll be wrapped.
Good on you. Vin Knight, a very emotional Vin Knight, and a tremendous performance by Almeida Boy. Well, that's where we leave you from Harold Park. It was a wee bit of a mixed reception here tonight. There was a few boos as well as the crowd cheering, but I think most punters are shocked by the poor performance by Westburn Grant. But the run Westburn Grant had, no horse could have won that race with the run that he had. Well, that's where we leave you from Harold Park. I would like to remind you to be watching SBS tomorrow night at 20 minutes past 10 Eastern Time, when we bring you live from the WACA ground in Perth, the third international football test between Australia and Ireland. I hope you can join us us then. And remember that 2 weeks from tonight, we'll be back here in Sydney for Harold Park's big race, the Coca-Cola Miracle Mile, at 9:30 Eastern Time on the 30th of November. So for now, from behalf of all the SBS team, this is Alan Gaskell wishing you a very good evening.